Bantucentric is recommended for listeners over the age of 16, as it may contain foul language and/or mature subject matter. This podcast is brought to you by Imagine Only Productions.
Welcome to Bantucentric. My name is Buck Rivers, and with me as always is my co-host Cheyenne Finch.
We're a couple of Bantus discussing movies, music, relationships, and pretty much everything else. Now, I want to talk about BookCon. Yes, that is where I spent.
That's too damn bad. You keep digging.
You know what, weird old-timey man.
Hey, that's a book reference. That's holes.
That's weird old-timey man. You're gonna get out of here because I'm gonna talk about how I nerded out all day Saturday. While the rest of you cool people were out there doing something with your Saturday, I was at BookCon having the best experience of my life. Yes.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I've never heard of BookCon.
Here's the thing. I didn't either until last year. Last year, I was on a train to Connecticut. I looked up and saw a poster in front of me, and it was like, BookCon. And I was like, no way. So I went and I Googled it, and I was sad to find out that it had already passed. But I signed up for the newsletter. I downloaded the app so that when they started selling tickets for 2018, I was first in line. Mm-hmm. So I was not first in line. I bought my ticket like a week before the event. But still, you know,
so
money struggles. But I was still able to get there, and it was amazing. First of all, they do it every year. It's a whole weekend, and on Saturday, it was from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. My mom was like, do you need to stay the whole day? And I was like, yeah, I do, because it's necessary. It's a pretty amazing event. I need to be there every minute. Yeah. I was there when they opened. I was there when they closed.
It takes a long time
to
kick
me out. That's the thing, though.
Like, ma'am,
I only did
you need to leave.
They're like, yeah, we're changing the locks because she's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But change the locks to the Javits Center. But yeah, it's a big thing for all book lovers and book nerds just like me, and I got a book haul. Not as big as I wanted my book haul to be, but like I said, money short. So I left with about 6 books, and I thought I did pretty well.
That's just nothing.
Hey, I went on Instagram and I saw people with piles and piles of like 20, 30 books, and my heart sank. I was like, I did not BookCon the way I was supposed to BookCon. Like, I was just like, I will do better next year. Now that I know what to expect, I will save up, I will plan my route, I will understand better what to do once I get there. But I did get to see, I went to a fantasy panel with 4 fantasy writers, and 2 of them are amazing writers that I know of. The other 2 writers, I don't quite remember their names because I've never read their books, but they sound like awesome people, so I will be looking into their books.
That's dedication.
Hey, man,
right there.
You go to BookCon to discover things.
To
So I discovered these 2 new authors that I will later pull out my BookCon schedule and pull up their names.
Okay. I'll later start respecting people and their names.
But the other 2
people that don't want to say black names because they're too hard to say and you don't even remember the name.
Hey, listen.
Shade.
So what? So the other 2 authors that were absolutely amazing, and I bought their books, were Marissa Meyer and Tommy Adeyemi. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. Tommy Adeyemi she's the author of Children of Blood and Bones, and I have not read this book yet, but I am so excited to read it. Everyone there that I spoke to told me it was amazing. The review said it was amazing. When I went to buy the book, the woman selling the book said she saw my torn face over should I spend the money or not. And she was like, you will not regret this. And I was like, okay, I'm sold, because it doesn't take much to get me to buy a book. So, so this will be my first book reading of hers, and I believe it's her first book writing ever. So first for everybody. But Marissa Meyer was already a favorite of mine. I read her book Heartless, which is a kind of a spin on the story of Alice in Wonderland. Basically, the Queen of Hearts, like the evil villain in the story, this book is about her, the story of Heartless, and I promise you this book is amazing. I read it twice. It will make you question everything. So it's absolutely amazing. It's a story of like love
everything
and
about
like
Alice in Wonderland, or just
everything. Like it's basically a simple story about a girl that just wanted to fall in love. Like that's it. That's all she wanted. But I'm not gonna spoil it for you about everything that happens. And the thing that drives you nuts about reading it is the entire time you're reading, you know what happens in the end. You know she's the Queen of Hearts because this book is about the Queen of Hearts. But while you're reading it, you don't want her to become the Queen of Hearts. You're just like, no. Like, it's just this internal battle with knowledge you already know. It's wild. But she also wrote The Lunar Chronicles, which is a story that takes place in like futuristic Beijing, China type situation, and then goes off into the rest of the world and into space, and it has a cyborg, and it's about royalty, and it's amazing. It's one of the best series I've ever read, and now I've just bought her book, The Renegades, which I'm also excited to read, about supervillains and superheroes falling in love, you know, my favorite kind of stuff, forbidden love and all that stuff we shouldn't be doing, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Similar types of books. Yeah.
Listen. There's something appealing about two people that are like, we're not supposed to be together, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Dysfunctional.
Like, it's like, we're gonna die if we fall in love. So it's inevitable that we're gonna fall in love. I'm very attracted to the Romeo and Juliet kind of love.
But I'm gonna do my own thing. Because I know more than the Lord. God. Like
growing up, if someone's like, hey, you shouldn't date that guy, he's a bad one, I'd be like, ha, I can change him.
You actually should. But here's a book that says that my choices are good.
Luckily, I put all
I'm
of that.
I'm not gonna get pregnant at 15, Mom. You're wrong. This book said. The
book said it'll work. Yeah. If Romeo and Juliet can do it. Oh, wait. Bad example. But luckily, I put all of that weird energy into forbidden love, into books, and not into my own life. So I didn't end up like on drugs with 7 kids by 8 baby daddies. Like,
not yet.
Listen. I am 22 this year. I beat teen pregnancy. I'm out of the window. I'm out of it.
22 teen.
22 teen. But get out.
You might, though, after you got that whole cash advance for that lady because you felt guilty. You know what? So you spent $30 on a $10 book.
Let me explain myself. There was
some bad interest. So your credit card's going to be like, no, here you go, 200% interest.
There was a girl sitting at a booth with a book that she wrote, and she had a couple piles of this book, and she, like, I walked up and I was like, hey, what's your book about?
This was a grown woman, I feel I should say. This was a grown woman, not a girl, because I was told it was a girl, so I'm thinking it was a kid
girl.
selling books.
I think she's like a teenager, maybe early
really
college years.
And cute.
Like, she's younger than me, like, so she's a girl. But
yeah, she
was just sitting there, and I was like, hey, what's your book about? And she explained it to me. I read the synopsis for it. I was like, this sounds like a pretty decent book. And she was like, yeah. It's $10, and I'll even autograph it for you. So I was like, I've kind of already gone over my budget,
so your
but you know
autograph
what?
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Hey, you don't know. The book could blow up. So
that's exactly what you said to her.
That's not what I said. I was like, I would love an autograph, and I would love your book. So I went to give her my credit card after she'd already signed my name in it, and she was like, oh, I only take cash. And I was like, I have no cash.
It was 2018 and everybody else has a card reader.
Listen. Then she was like, well, you know what? You might as well just take the book for free because I'm most likely not going to meet another Cheyenne. Which low-key offended me. I was like, why are you not going to meet another Cheyenne? Like, it's not that uncommon of a name. Like, I've met a few Cheyennes in my life. You might meet one today. You don't know. But I digress. She
doesn't think they read. It's not a super intelligent
Most Cheyennes
name.
don't read.
So she doesn't.
See, that's the thing that pisses me off. A lot of people think my name is made up. They think it's like, they think my name is real hood and made up. And then I'm like, it's the name of a Native American tribe. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
We thought your parents
just a bunch of Cheyennes
threw some vowels together and created a name. So
they've never heard of anybody named Cheyenne?
Yep.
Like, I just thought that was a common-ass name.
It is common. But the thing is, like, here's what pisses me off. A lot of people spell it wrong. It'll be, like, started with an S. Okay. It'll have an A thrown in there.
Yeah.
Like, and what baffles me is it's the white people spelling it wrong. And they're just like, yeah, my daughter's name is Cheyenne. Shayanne.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, your name's Karen. Yeah, because I'm not going to allow that.
Shit wrong.
Like,
those weird names. Yeah,
but then they see my name and they're like, she made it up. And I'm like, no, it's Native American. I can understand why you probably blocked that definition out, but it is Native American. Thank you. It's not made up. My name is valid.
Represent.
All Cheyennes matter.
I got a little Native American in me. I ain't just black. I got some.
Right. But I digress. Right. So I felt bad that this girl gave me a free book, and I ran around. I found an ATM, and my credit card was like, oh, you're trying to do a cash advance? That's a $10 fee. And the ATM was like, oh, you want some money? Interest. That's a $20 minimum. And I was like, I just spent $30 on this book. But I felt bad, so I did it. And I ran back. I gave the girl the $10. She was like, "Oh my God, thank you!" Because I'm pretty sure she didn't expect me to come back because she probably thinks all Cheyennes are horrible people that don't read. No, I'm not gonna give her $20. She said the book was $10. She gets $10. I've spent that $20 on a sandwich. Like, I could use that other $10 on so many things. But
yeah, something to eat while you read this book.
Exactly. Not at the Javits Center because their prices are ridiculous. But somewhere else I could take my $10.
Is it a touring convention? You said it's only in Connecticut?
No, it's in New York. It's at the Javits Center. It's basically the same thing as Comic-Con, but for books. So,
but I mean, do they go different places? Like, are they coming to the West Coast?
I believe they're only in New York, from what I've seen. I saw nothing of another location. That's because all the best people are here. I keep trying to tell you, you gotta move here, and you don't listen to me. So no books for you.
I'll just pack up my whole life, give up my degree a semester out.
Exactly. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
That's very, very small thing.
Yes. But yeah, so I went to a few panels, horror story panels, romance novel panels, poetry, fantasy writing, all of that, and they were all amazing. I didn't expect to have as good of a time as I did. I went in excited to buy books. I didn't go in knowing just how much of a nerd I truly am and just how exciting this experience was going to be. Like, I was sitting there like I was at a rock concert. Like, I was just so happy. Yeah. And there was one point where the DJ, right before the biggest panel I went to, he started playing Don't Stop Believin'. And he was like, if you're over 25, this is Journey. If you're under 25, this is Glee. And I was like, all right. So that was amazing. It was just an overall amazing experience. They had tote bags out the wazoo, so you can never have enough tote bags. You were always prepared for your millions of books to bring home.
Yeah.
And I bought a t-shirt that says Creature Shelf, like bookshelf. I think is the most amazing thing I've ever owned. And I'm just nerding out. Like, it was honestly truly an experience I think everyone should have. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, all the stars, high ratings. amazing.
I'm glad you have fun. I'm glad you're happy. At least until you see your credit card bill.
Listen.
And your life spirals into crippling debt and drug abuse and
why
bad
am I on drugs now? Why? Where did the drugs
Because you don't have any money, so you gotta cope.
I have no money, so I buy drugs.
And you can't. Yeah, you don't have a home. That's true.
Makes sense.
Drugs are cheaper than paying for your credit card interest for that cash advance.
Well, like unless the drug dealers take credit, I'm probably not gonna get addicted to drugs. Like, unless they got Apple Pay and they're like ready to swipe. Like, because I don't have cash anymore. Like, unless they want my $10 from the book. Like that's all I got, man. They'd be like, "Oh, you don't have cash? You know what? Take this Coke for free. We're probably not gonna meet another Cheyenne tonight, so here you go." And I'm like, "Wait, no. Where's the nearest ATM?" Like,
you shouldn't really ever accept free drugs from randoms.
I mean,
you shouldn't accept,
nice.
drugs anyway. But if you pay top dollar, waste not, want not. That's all I'm saying.
Waste not, want
But speaking of crazy crackheads, Rachel Watch, it is time for the reckoning. We really need a theme song.
We do.
Yes, it is time for Rachel Watch. She is back in the news, as we told you last week. This bitch has been cheating with welfare.
What?
If you didn't listen last week, she had been getting over $8,000 in false welfare checks and claims.
This is news to me.
You reported on this last week.
I didn't listen last week.
You led this segment. You didn't listen to your own podcast. But yeah, she has been cheating the system. She has been watching too many black movies trying to imitate us, and in so doing has decided to adopt the stereotypical welfare queen mentality. And so she is looking at a lot of time, but her initial court date was today, and we wanted to be the first people to jump on it. Yesterday, if you're listening to this, on Friday, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, today's Wednesday. So yeah, 2 days ago, she was in court, and she pled not guilty.
Don't tell them when we record, giving away our secrets.
our company secrets. But yeah, she pled not guilty to welfare fraud. I feel like she's not getting away with this, but we'll have to wait until June 20th. That's when her arraignment has been rescheduled to. So yeah, we will keep you guys posted on that, but I'm ready for her to get the book thrown at her.
I mean, we don't know if she's getting away with it because we don't know if she's white or black. It depends on what she walks into that courtroom as. She walks in as a white woman, she's probably going to walk out free. But, she walks in, hair twisted, skin a little tanned. Guilty. I don't know. The judge might be like, oh, no, welfare fraud.
Life imprisonment.
And then she'll have to, lean on Kim Kardashian to get her out. And that's the situation.
Get a pardon. I bet Trump would pardon her ass just to stick it to black people. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna pardon this lady.
Of all the black people, I'll pardon this one. It's like, no, that
He'll
doesn't
give
count.
A speech about how much he loves the black community and how he helped this black woman. And
see, this is why I need her to stop, because a lot of white people are gonna use her as a sounding board. See, we do love black people. We love Rachel Dolezal. No.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Love Whoopi Goldberg, and then we'll talk. Give me something.
Yeah.
Throw me a bone.
But unfortunately, like I said, we'll have to wait until June 20th. I was hoping this could be just like an open and shut kind of thing. She could walk in there, they could scream guilty, and she could cry in front of a whole bunch of people.
Because that's how court works.
But that's not how the justice
I'm
system
going to court
works.
today. Guilty! Damn, I barely got
Our justice system likes to drag shit out really, really far. So that, that dude... has that dude that shot Gabrielle Giffords been put in prison yet?
I don't...
You know that weird skinhead dude that shot a senator? I don't think he's in jail yet. I think he's still in trial. I'll look into it, but at the very least, I know it was about a year before his trial actually began. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you shot a senator. Everybody saw you shoot a senator. Come on. It took them a very long time to get him in the courthouse. They wait a really long time for this shit. With Darren Wilson after you shot Michael Brown. That was the next year or something, or 6 to 8 months later when we got the we're not gonna indict. 6 months? What the fuck? How does it take you that long to mull it over that you're gonna go ahead and continue in the train of racism and not take this cop to court? Right. I knew that the first day. I knew that was gonna happen. Y'all should have just come out and said it. There's no reason to keep us waiting for 6 months. But yeah, that's our justice system, everybody. But like you said, if she decides to go ahead and be a white person, maybe she'll get away with it. But if she wants to stick to her delusions,
then there's the whole fact that she had sex with a black man. So then she is
that's
black
true.
By association.
So she accepted some of that, that blackness.
Took that inside her.
She was inseminated with the black gene.
That's how black people are made.
Once you go black, you never go back.
Literally, you are now black.
Yeah.
You can't go back.
It's like a symbiote.
It's you.
We
all thought it was, you'll never sleep with a white man again. No, that's not what that phrase was saying. The phrase was saying, you are actually black now. You can't revert. So
yeah, it's like at the end of that Venom trailer. It's what are you? It's we are Venom. It's just I am a black person. As soon as you lay with a black person, it gets it's a suit, it crawls up your face, and then you get shark teeth and everything.
Shark teeth and everything.
So this segment got really off track. But yeah, that's the end of Rachel Watch. If we had a theme song, if we have a theme song, if I find a theme song, it will be playing right now. Okay, it finished playing. It finished playing. So, you know what else needs to hurry up and play?
Quality segues.
Doing the plug.
Quality segues.
Yeah. We have our plug segment. Woo, plugs. Execute plug music.
And I get...
Click. I'm pressing the plug music button. So just because we don't have any sponsors, because you guys don't love us and won't promote our show. We need sponsors. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start fishing. We're just gonna promote people until they sponsor us. But that's not what we're gonna do today. So it doesn't even matter. We're going to just continue on the line of the book thing. And so we're just going to start naming off shit that we've been reading.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do?
Because I'm a nerd, and I get to nerd out.
This is the most professional podcast in the world. So, we never just make up shit on the fly and do dumbass stuff. That doesn't happen. We are very, very professional people who really put a lot of time and effort into every word that comes out of our mouths on this show. And I want you guys to know how much we prepare for the stupidity that you hear. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to be so stupid sometimes. It's really difficult. And I pride myself on being able to do stuff. So that's my
I want Stupidity Takes Effort on a t-shirt.
Rivers.
The official Bantucentric t-shirt is Stupidity Takes Effort.
Yes.
Yes.
The
that
quote,
is our slogan.
I want that on my tombstone. Stupidity takes effort, y'all. Fuck Rivers. Died. 2020. I hope I live past 2020. But since I've said that, I've cursed myself. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I'm still alive 2021.
Hopefully. Or else I'll just be here on the podcast like, well, it's just me, guys. Here's what book I'm reading today.
Every episode, you'll boot it up and just cry for an hour. Upload.
And, like, talk about a book in between my sobs. Like,
no, you gotta, like, reminisce.
I read.
No, you gotta reminisce about the great times with me, you know? You gotta tell my story. Before I die, I'll write my memoir, you know, and it'll be like a 700-page. I'll just read your memoir
on air.
Yeah, exactly. You know, every episode you'll read it, and then once it's over, you know, you'll go back over it with the cliff notes and everything, you know, and then you'll do like a word by word podcast, so you'll analyze each word each week, you know.
I'll be on air
be the
like
next word,
there was one time when he didn't like the show. He said everyone was stupid for liking it, and he was right.
That is not on record that ever actually happened. That video is unlisted on YouTube.
This is stupid, and you're all stupid for liking it.
That's not true.
That's how you get fans. Yep.
I was an ambitious kid, okay?
YouTube 101.
I knew what I was doing.
Yep.
But anywho, what you been reading? Here you've been reading a whole lot of smut, and you're trying to taint the family nature of this fucking podcast. I mean.
Yes, the family nature of this podcast.
I don't think you said it the way I said it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been reading the play-by-play series by Jackie Burton, and the way I stumbled into this was kind of funny. I started on her book Unexpected Rush, which is actually, one second, the 11th book in the series. Yes, I started on the 11th book in the series. So, I did not know that it was a series when I bought it. It was a bargain book at Barnes & Noble. I was like, hey, there's a hot guy on the cover,
so it's
why not?
such a disjointed and ill-written story that you couldn't even tell?
No,
is that what you're telling us?
That's not what I'm saying at all. It's really...
Are you slandering this woman?
Love you, Jackie.
Microphone in your face.
No, the way these books are written, basically each book is a different story about a different couple. And they kind of branch off depending on, like, familial relations. Like, the first book is about Mick Riley, the second book is about his brother Gavin Riley, and then the next one goes on to another sibling. And then they start with a different family, like the Prestons, and then there's another family, the Cassidys. So it's... so each book is a different couple.
Some weird incestuous families.
No, they're not like incestuous. Stop reading into things. No. They're all sleeping with other people. It's other people. Okay. But they're actually really good. They're all sports related. So like most of them are football players. There's a baseball player in there. So it's all about like athletes falling in love with women. And
so I'm guessing there's a fair amount of spousal abuse then.
No.
But
they're all very loving
football
and affectionate.
Players sometimes beat their wives, people.
Sometimes, but not in the series. You know,
it's explaining the joke.
Listen. I just finished.
And it's funny because the NFL seems to care more about kneeling than they do about spousal abuse.
You know what?
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
If you want to hear more about it, check out my channel, Sideline Source.
Shameless
plug. Shameless plug. But I just finished The Perfect Play by Jackie Burton, which is the first book in the series. I've read 3 of the others in the series, Unexpected Rush, Rules of Contact, and The Final Score. All really good, all very erotic, but her writing is very good. I read it for the stories, just like those guys that are like, oh, I watch porn for the stories. Like, yeah.
Who says that? Like,
I'm not into it like that. I watch porn for the stories, guys. They have really good storylines.
Yeah. Although some of those stories are funny though. Like if you do the parody ones.
Yes.
Where it's like the superheroes. There's always one every time an Avengers movie comes out, they like release a parody. And it's just the dumbest reasons.
Those are hilarious. I watch it for the parodies, guys. Just watch it for the parodies. Yeah. I think it's like so romantic when the guy walks in with the pizza box and she's like, hey, does it have sausage? And he's like, yeah. And then, you know, such a lovely love story. It's amazing.
Does it have pineapple though?
Like, no. It's like, oh, I gotta go.
No.
This video's
like, all right,
over.
Then send that shit back. I ordered a pineapple and sausage pizza, so you better get up out my house.
But wait,
This is over.
But it has sausage. That's the only important component.
No. Sausage pineapple pizza, please. I was gonna have sex with you, but because
you forgot.
You obviously don't know how to take orders, I don't believe in the professionalism of your company. So I'm gonna have to recommend that I do not frequent your establishment.
Because like it's not even gonna be porn. It's just gonna be like a whole bunch of people like click on it thinking it's porn, and then it's just a whole like
it's just
like
not.
Bad review of Domino's like
yeah. She's sitting there eating the pizza, just like kind of. The sauce could be a little less tangy, but you know, yeah, it's what you get what you pay for, you know. And he's like standing there like,
I just want one where she throws the pizza on the ground. It's like, I ordered extra cheese. Yeah. And it's like,
she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to eat the crusts. My bad. Yeah, let me go back and try that.
An hour of just a woman eating a pizza.
Yeah, him being frustrated.
It's amazing. She's like, you gonna tip me? And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And like goes and gets her wallet, and pulls like $3 out.
Yeah, like, here you go. Like, here's like, $1. It's like $1, really? Really? That's my tip?
I like how we just spun off to like
it's like, well,
porn.
I was gonna have sex with you, so you wouldn't have gotten the money anyway. Like, come on. What's gonna help you feed your kids? This $1 or meaningless sex, huh? You tell me, buddy.
In the moment.
And then he'll like change his life,
the
sex. He'll be a changed person. But you know, he needs those tips. That's like what, $2 an hour? Some of those jobs.
$2. That's kind of illegal. Like,
no, I think like a lot of restaurant jobs, that's like $2. Because if it's a tip thing, like I think it goes into a completely different bracket. Like they can get away with not giving you minimum wage because assuming you're gonna get a lot of tips, and half the time you don't. And then you're trying to feed your kids, and then you gotta deliver, you know, sexual pizzas to people to make ends meet.
Porn just got really sad.
So we can, we can start with him in college, you know, getting a degree, and then there's no jobs left in his field. So he has to
deliver sexual pizzas.
That's so sad.
What is this podcast?
I don't know. I feel like my mom tries to listen to these, so.
My mom does not listen because our podcast is an hour.
Okay.
She's just like, I support you and all you do, but no.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm sorry, Mom.
My boyfriend, however, does listen to these in entirety.
We'll quickly get back to this being a family podcast.
That'll be interesting.
Are we still in the plug section? I feel like this just fell apart.
We haven't even gotten to the Bantu
when I'm editing this, am I still playing this plug music? Because that music gets repetitive after 20 minutes. Like, I don't remember how long.
I did my plug. I'm waiting on yours.
I wanted to plug a book 2 or 3 books.
Well, hurry
that
up.
could be about. If you're gonna read it, it's about 300 pages long between all 3 books. They are the Bantus series by Nnedi Okorafor, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm not positive. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. Science fiction, Afrofuturism, just go buy it. Like, I want to tell you things about it, but it would ruin it. It's a book that, this was like my first foray into Afrofuturism. And so basically, I'll tell you this part. Basically, just in the very beginning of the first book, you learn about this girl who is of the Himba tribe, which is there's a tribe of African people, and if you've ever seen photos of them, they have kind of orange clay over their bodies and their hair, and that's the tribe that she's from, and her people. Traditionally, they don't leave, they don't travel to other places, they stay within the tribe. And so it's kind of a shock to everyone when she gets accepted into this really prestigious college. And so she has to kind of decide if she's gonna go. And this is kind of explained throughout that beginning part. It's not that it follows all of this, but just that, she needs to figure out if she's gonna go anyway, disobeying her parents and kind of leaving her people and kind of, shunning her culture in a sense, so that she can go and better herself, because her family, they're very talented mathematicians, and they use that to build devices that are very essential to life on all the planets, period. Everyone uses the devices that their people create, and they really don't get the credit for doing so. And so she decides, I'm gonna go ahead and go. This is a big opportunity, I need to. So she goes out kind of in the middle of the night, and she gets on her hovercraft, and she goes to catch the next space shuttle so that she can go to this intergalactic college. Now, I said that in a way to hopefully surprise some of y'all, because that's how it feels when you're reading this book. You're in there, and it's like, these are tribes people, and so if you're American, you're thinking Africa, you're thinking tribes, you're thinking the racist documentaries that we had to watch growing up, and so you get in that old-timey Black African tribe kind of mentality, and then it's like hovercraft, spaceship, and you're like, wait, what? And it's so cool, because that's the heart. Yeah, like, that's the heart of Afrofuturism, and this was the first time that I really dove into that, and it's just so unique. I mean, I love her writing anyway, because that's sort of how she writes things. You're kind of on this trail, and then all of a sudden it's just like, ah! But it's not a suddenly, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, we're describing everything, and then you're describing this horrible thing too, and then you're like, wait, what? And you go back and reread the sentence, and you're like, what? And you read forward, and you're like, oh shit, something really crazy just happened. And you just didn't see it coming, because it's just kind of like in one sentence, things go from great to horrible, and just boom. And so it feels like it gets you, Whereas authors who try to write in stuff like suddenly and then, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel convincing, because they're telling you to be surprised. This book really just surprises you just in the way that it's written, and so I love her writing style for that, but I also love the level of creativity. This is not like any other science fiction book you've read. It just isn't. The imagery in it is so different and so new. The technology is so different and so new. All of the different pieces of this are different and new, and you will just, I don't know, I just loved it. It's 3 books, like I said, they're very short. The first one was just a novella. Second one, I think, classifies as an actual novel, being that it's over 100 pages. I'm not sure what the exact classifications are. Third book's a bit longer than that. So altogether, you're looking at about 300 pages, but it's definitely worth it. Don't just buy one of these books. They're really cheap on Amazon, so get them all 3. You can get them for like $30 if you get all 3. Just do it, because you're gonna want to read all of them. And once you get to the end, she's one of those authors that'll just kind of leave you hanging, and that is aggressively painful when another book hasn't come out, because you're like, wait, what happens next? And it's just like, it's one of those books, but the ending does wrap everything up very well. So know that going in, things are wrapped up well at the end. It's not one of those, oh shit, I'm just gonna stop here and you're never gonna know. This was a trilogy, and the trilogy is complete. So definitely jump in. If you're like Cheyenne and you can't read something knowing it's gonna keep going on, like, this is a good series.
I can read series. I just prefer them to all be out before I start. Don't tell me read this book, so it's
that's
great.
That's why you haven't
read
Game of Thrones.
And then I read it, and then it ends, and I'm like, wait, what happens? And they're like, find out next fall. Like, don't do that to me. That's traumatizing. Like,
no, it's not.
That's why when I found the Lunar Chronicles, it was done, and I finished it. And it was amazing because I didn't have to wait for anybody. I would buy the next book knowing that I was coming up on the end of the first one, and I was ready. Like, that's what I need in my life. I need just straightforward. You don't stop in the middle of a movie and go watch another movie, and then watch 2 other movies, and then come back to the first movie. Like, touche.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's kind of how sequels
that is
work.
Yeah, exactly.
We go see other
exactly
movies while waiting for the next movie.
Loser.
Still, it feels
you
wrong.
Live your life. You move on as a person. You do other things.
I don't. After I saw Infinity War, I was like, I'm not gonna watch any other movie ever again until the next one comes out.
Ever. Period.
Because I can't move reviews. on. I have to wait now.
But yeah, because this plug segment is probably not a plug segment. If I'm still playing this plug music, I'm sorry. Like, I'll figure it out when I listen to it. But damn, there's a lot of loop into that track. I don't want to even loop it that many times because you got to get the loop right. Half the time I don't care. I just throw it in there and it just boom, 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 you know. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. We'll just squeeze them together. But yes, that is Benti by Nnedi Okorafor. Nnediokor. Oh no. Oh. Okay.
Nope, too late. You messed up. It's over.
Okay. ORAFOR. There you go. Good, nice and twos, even letters, even number letters. But yes, Benti, Nnedi Okorafor, and your author is
Jackie Burton, Jaci. Burton is Burton. I'm pretty sure she's white, so that's not that difficult. But
oh, I didn't know. We weren't celebrating blackness on Bantucentric.
Listen, I've never seen a picture of her, so I don't even know what she is. Let's look in the back of the book. Is there a picture of her?
You disgraced a good name.
The's no picture of her. What is this?
She's like Rachel Dozel. She's trying to pretend she's black.
There's no about the author. I'm pissed. Where's the about the author page?
Trust me, I'm black. That's like the first line.
Will you look at this? It's one little paragraph on the last page with no picture. She doesn't want you to know what she looks like because she writes erotic novels. So the world will never know the race of Jackie Burton.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure she's white.
But yes, please look up both of these unless you are a Christian, good... not
I'm a Christian?
deviant like Cheyenne, then you should just read my book instead of tainting your mind with images of sin.
Hey, I recommend this book for all people. I think it's a lovely read if you want to just like skip. Like, she's white. I found her face. She's white. But
okay.
If you want to just like skip
mystery
all if you want to skip all the steamy parts, then you'll have a pretty good idea of when they're coming up. It'll be like, then he took me up to his room. Just stop reading. Like, now you know. Just like skip a couple pages.
What if they were just gonna play checkers?
They're not. I've read 4 of them. I can tell you, they're not. If they're like, we snuck away to like the barn, just skip a couple pages. Like, if they're just like, he gave me that look, just skip a couple pages. Like, it's not that hard to figure out what's coming next.
They were playing Uno. I threw down 2 drop 4s at the same time, and he gave me that look, and you just stopped reading.
This is why you need to produce porn, because this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like, he gave me that look, and I knew it meant one thing. Uno. And I threw down my cards and I took the loss.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if it's creative, I think that the porn industry has gotten very saving. And so that's all I'm going to say. If I was to do it, I have a fresh take on the industry.
Your porn isn't porn at all. It's just like, it's kind of like, we came here for porn, but it's actually just like a really irritating video of people finding themselves and like selling sexual pizzas that aren't sexual at all, and they're just pizzas with the wrong toppings.
They're not. At the end of it, she talks to him, and he explains, how he got into this, selling sexual pizza to people, and she explains.
There's gonna be a guy that listens to this, and he's like, "How did he know?"
Doesn't have. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna speak to the masses because that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people that have degrees. And they just can't get jobs. And so, what else are you gonna do? Honestly,
where's the job to sell
that's
sexual
not judgment.
Pizzas? Like, do you find that on LinkedIn? Like, you just go on
Yes.
Indeed.com and be like, sexual pizza delivery guy.
Yeah.
Like, and like, a bunch of jobs pop up.
Funded by Imagine Only, Bug Rivers. It's like, I just signed up for a license with the
Papa
Business
John's
Bureau.
is hiring a sexual pizza delivery guy. And it's like, oh, this sounds like the job for me.
Shack. Yeah.
It's like,
my degree won't take me anywhere.
I'd be a stripper before I became a sexual pizza delivery person. Like,
well, what kind of pizzas would you deliver?
It doesn't matter. Right? I mean, like, you can tell your friends, hey guys,
pizzas.
I became a stripper, and they'll be like, oh snap, oh well, I guess you do what you gotta do. You can't tell your friends, hey guys, I became a sexual pizza delivery guy, and like just expect them to accept that. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh well, do you? Like, no. They're gonna be like, the hell is that? Like,
I am wondering what the title of this episode is gonna be, because this has been a running theme for a bit too long for it to not be a part of this.
It's gonna be porn. Again, it's not porn.
I apologize. Yeah, I promise we'll listen to it.
Porn that makes you find your inner self.
Yeah.
And think about your whole life.
And books. And books. But speaking of, this is a good one. Okay. Sometimes pornography uses what are called by layman's, or not layman's, people that know what they're talking about. So not like in the industry, I guess.
Unlayman's.
Kinks, which are things, they're akin to fetishes, things that you like during the act. And so if you are doing said things, you could be considered to be kinky.
Ah.
And if you were doing these things while wearing boots, you might just be Nick Rashad Burroughs, the Bantu of the day. Now, what kind of segue is that? Now, that was awesome.
That was the
yeah, it took me some time to get there. It took some time to get there.
It was the deepest connection.
But it's about the journey. It is about the journey.
Segues are not about the journey. They're about the next topic.
I took you there like a preacher. I led
That's
you
not
down
what I look
step by
for
step,
in my segues,
and then
sir.
I hit you with
look for a quick transition.
with the point.
You're giving me essays. Well, our Bantu of the day is in fact Nick Rashad Burroughs, as my co-host has said. He is...
Yeah, so awesome and eloquently.
I discovered him when he played the lead in Todrick Hall's music video for Ordinary Day. I watch Forbidden on repeat all the time, and I love Ordinary Day. I love Nick Burroughs in that song. His voice is absolutely amazing. It's strong. He's just like you feel it in your soul, like when he sings. It's amazing. I love it. And I loved watching the behind the scenes for that video and watching him react to hearing his own voice. He's just like, whoa, like that was me. It was absolutely amazing. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. But yes, he is actually in Kinky Boots. He's currently in Kinky Boots, or was he previously in Kinky Boots? I'm not sure. I think he's currently. We could be wrong. Okay. We're very unprofessional, but yes.
We are often wrong.
We're
dealing with those lawsuits as we speak.
Yes. But he has a bachelor's in musical theater. In university theater, he played at University of Alabama, where he was in Les Miserables, the French musical. He was also in...
so well pronounced.
Yes, Les Miserables. I can never say that right. Like, 4 years of French, and I can never say that right. Like, I don't know. But he was also in Ragtime, 7 Guitars, Company, A New Brain, and Chicago. This was just in university. Very impressive, sir. Nice. He also went on to the theater, and he was in Jesus Christ Superstar. Have you heard of Jesus Christ Superstar? I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't?
I haven't.
What? They just did it. They just did a live show of that on like ABC or whatever. Whoever does those musical live shows, they just did that.
He played Judas.
I think it was John Legend was on the. John Legend played Jesus, I think, in this recent live one. I'm not positive. I know he's in it, I believe, or maybe he did the music. Well, he didn't do the music because it's already written. It's a musical. I don't know. He was in it, but not this guy. I don't think so. He was in the Broadway production.
Well, I will have to look into this. He also did a couple of my favorites. Shrek the Musical, of course. Body once. Oh, yeah. Hairspray. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, always a favorite of mine. Of course, Alice in Wonderland. Hello, Dolly. He's done a lot of stuff. And yes, I believe he is currently in Kinky Boots. I hope he's currently in Kinky Boots because I hope to go see that play one of these days. Now that I am living in Manhattan, I feel like that's something I should do. But yes,
he was also on episode 7 of the Get Down, very briefly, but he was on it. So and that show was awesome. And Netflix is a big jerk for not continuing into a 3rd season because it was too expensive. All the money in the world, and you got to cut off a great show like Get Down. Come on.
Narcos got all
like
the
come
money.
on. Like, I'm glad we got 13 Reasons Why, because I'm sure some of that money went to their other products. But come on, let's get down with the Get Down. Let's go.
Get down with the Get Down. Yes. Well, hopefully another streaming site will pick them up, like Amazon or Hulu or somebody, and continue it because it was a good show. But
it's a very good show.
Yes, I love that.
We should review that.
I love that on his website. Under his resume, it's just like, hire me. Like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I should put that on my resume. Like, just hire me in big green letters. Like do it. But this man is amazing. His voice is definitely different. It's something I haven't heard like much before. It's one of those voices where you hear it and you just have to like turn around. Like, you know how we all hear music and it's like, oh yeah, music, that's nice. But then it's like you hear someone hit a note and it's just like, whoa, who was that? And that is why he's our Bantu of the day, because I was watching Forbidden for the millionth time today, and I was like, let's talk about this guy. Like, he sounds amazing. Awesome. Beautiful man. Lovely voice.
He definitely is. I'm glad that he is being successful in his career. He definitely has quite a laundry list of awesome achievements. And I'm always happy to see Black people in theater because I love theater, but that's not a path that I went down. I had 2 choices, theater or 3D animation, and I went to animation.
You could wear some kinky boots.
I don't know if I'd be suited for that part, but I could do something else.
You would be the kinky boot
I could be
wearer.
The guy
in
the back who's not wearing boots.
You'd be the main kinky boot guy, just kicking around in his boots.
You know so much about this show.
Being kinky, because that's what they do, right?
In my boots.
Being kinky in the boots.
You should message us, Nick, and explain what that show's about because clearly we don't know how to find that information.
You're shameful.
But as always, thank you for all that you do.
Yes.
thank you for being Bantu.
You could have been any
and thank
race,
you for being black.
but you chose ours, and we appreciate your business.
Yes, you did.
So,
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And
but you know who doesn't appreciate our business? The white couple that unfortunately left their new adopted daughter in a car. His daughter just happened to be black. And
we just took this.
The vibe
you guys must be feeling weird. Yeah. We've been making dumb jokes this whole time. And as soon as you started talking, I was like, I can't make a joke about this.
After I did the segue, I started feeling real guilty. And I slowed down immensely. I was just like,
yeah.
Wait, this story is awful.
There's somebody dead. We can't. Who picked this lineup? Who chose
Never let me
the
segue
lineup, the
anything
order
ever again. I'm banned from segueing ever again. This was just a terrible segue. I apologize.
Who picked this horrible topic? I want them fired.
I didn't pick the horrible topic. I just did the horrible segue. I'm not responsible.
Well, then who picked it?
You want me to call him out? You want that?
No. He who shall not be named, who has no relation to Buck Rivers.
Well.
Anywho, yeah.
So this happened in Nashville, Tennessee. Apparently on Wednesday, May 23rd. Basically, this white couple newly adopted a black child. She was 1 year old, and the father, they already had a child that the mother gave birth to. So they had their birth son, who's 5 years old, and then this new adopted baby. So the father's on his way to a business trip. He has to drop the children off at daycare. He drives to the daycare center, drops the 5-year-old off, and forgets that he just went through the entire process of adoption to acquire another child. And leaves the 1-year-old in the car and proceeds to park his pickup truck in the driveway of his home and go on to his business meeting. What baffles me is the fact that he literally drove with these 2 children in the car, drops 1 kid off at daycare, gets out the car, takes 1 kid out the car, walks this 1 kid to daycare, gets back in the car, drives back home, then gets out of that car, goes on to his business trip, is in the middle of his business trip, like, doing his business, and not once did it ever click in his head that he put his new baby girl in this car as well. Yeah. That's what baffles me. Like, there have been parents that have been in the situation of leaving their babies in cars before, but those stories, not that they're any better, but those stories are like, I left them in there for 3 minutes, or I thought I'd run into the store and run back out, or I forgot for 5 minutes, and then I was like, where's my baby? They don't leave for hours. Like, this baby was in this car for hours. And then the mom...
And, or, if they do, it's usually, like... My dad would always drive me to school, like throughout high school before I had a car. He would always take me, and it was a long trip. But we had to go in the direction that he would go for work, and he worked nights. Right. So there were times where he'd get on the wrong freeway thinking he was going to work, and then he'd be like, oh, crap, and then he'd, have to turn around. So if I had been in the back seat and or was an infant, you could say that maybe he could forget, and just go on his trip, to the place, get out and leave the kid in the car, which has happened in other cases. But for you to take one child into daycare and not the other child into daycare, that doesn't make any damn sense as far as I'm concerned. Because that's crazy.
He didn't forget where he was
going.
How
do you
he
go
went
to
daycare.
The location? Yeah.
He knew he was bringing children to daycare. You just forgot you
had another child? And where were these kids? Was one of the kids in the front seat and got out themselves? How old is this other kid?
5. The other kid was
5. So that kid was most likely in the back seat. So somehow you removed one child from the back seat and not the other one.
Right.
Like, this dude better go to prison, because there's no way you can spin this that makes any damn sense. Especially when you went through the lengthy process of adopting somebody.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not like you just, like, you and your wife went to the corner store one day, picked up a kid, came home, forgot you bought this kid, and was like, oh, shit, we have a kid.
Yeah.
Like the adoption is such a long process, such a lengthy background check, have to, like, interview you, tour the home, wait for someone to, like, give you a kid process, that there's no way you just forgot you had a second kid in the car. There's no way your 5-year-old kid got out the car and you were just like, cool, let's go. And it never came to mind that you had another baby in the car. And so what happened was the mother, she goes to the daycare center to pick up the kids. She asked for both of them. The daycare center only gives her one. And she's like, where's the other kid? Daycare center's like, we never received another kid. So she calls her husband, and then it clicks in his head, oh snap, I left that kid in the car.
Oh crap,
like,
I have two
like
kids.
She was a cell phone or something. Like, oh, where's my cell phone? I must have left it in the car.
I literally chose this child. Like, if you just squeeze out 2 people, accident, condom broke, sure, maybe. But you had to choose this human being. How do you forget that person? It's crazy to think that, but it is kind of easier to forget somebody who just came into your life naturally, you know?
Right.
But to have chosen someone and you forget about them, that, I don't understand that. That's crazy.
Right. So apparently the mother tried to perform CPR on the baby when she found her, but it was too late. She brought the baby to the hospital, and the baby was pronounced dead on site. And apparently people have been asking about the situation, and Nashville officials have said that it's very unlikely that charges will be filed. So the investigation is still ongoing, but most likely nothing's going to happen to these parents. They just got to adopt a black child, kill that black child, and go on with their lives. And apparently the birth mother of that child
available?
Was identified. There are pictures of the couple. You can, like, see who they are.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's name. So, like, everybody knows who this couple is. But, yeah, apparently the birth mother was informed that her child died. Like, imagine that. You give your child up for adoption. Maybe it's because you were too young. Maybe it's because you couldn't afford to take care of a child. Maybe you thought they'd have a better life if you gave them up for adoption. And then you get this information a year later. Yeah. Your baby was adopted by a couple that left them in a car. That's absolutely awful. And nothing is happening to this couple. Like, there are plenty of parents that have been convicted after leaving their children in cars. Like, it's murder. Yeah, exactly. You left your child in a hot car.
They don't care because it's a black kid.
Right, and they said it was 89 degrees that day.
Just like these parents didn't give a shit. Just like this man didn't give a shit. Right. Because the mom, she wasn't involved in this. So just like this man did not give a shit. Yeah. Because you adopted somebody. Because we don't know what the story is on the mother. Because she wasn't there. She wasn't in the car. But he, like, so clearly... Unless this was orchestrated, then, you know, we don't know.
To me, it sounds like she wanted another baby. He didn't. She wanted this baby. He didn't. So he got rid of the problem in his own awful monster way. And it's like...
That's all speculation.
All speculation. But... It's just, it's
slander. Gonna get another cease and desist. No, I'm kidding. We don't have any of those. At least not yet. At least we're tiptoeing on the line.
Or we keep catching ourselves. But, yes, that's I hope something happens and they throw the book at this guy and he's just... Like,
or throw something else at this guy. Like, this dude is scum. Like I said,
completely.
Even if he literally forgot and it was a true forgetfulness, doesn't matter. Like, you clearly don't care about this child. There's no way for that. Like I said, when it's just a one kid kind of thing, you know, like I was saying with my dad, that's possible, you know, to just drive where you were going and forget, you know, especially if it's a kid, they're in the back seat, they're not making any noise, that kind of thing. It's possible. I'm not saying it's right, but it makes some sense how that could happen, you know? But to drop off one child and not remember that you have two, like, that's crazy, you know? Like, I kind of feel like your speculation makes a lot of sense, because I'm like, if you wanted this child, then how do you forget about them, you know? But if you really didn't want this kid to begin with, then maybe you could forget about them because this is my daughter, and then there's this person who's here. I guess I'll deal with their black ass.
So notice how, like, the mother went to pick up two kids. She didn't go to pick up one kid and completely forget that she had a baby. She went to pick up two kids. And he was just like, I'm going to drop off one. Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no, oops, I made a mistake. Like, no, there's no excuse in that situation.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
How do we segue out of that?
I don't know. But we're going a bit over time. So you want to wrap things up?
Yeah. It'd probably be for the best. Because I can't think of how to segue out of that.
Yeah, and sorry guys, like, you guys listen to like an hour of laughs and jokes and then
pizzas.
like yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be called sexual pizzas now, huh? Like, there's no way around it. Like that.
There's nothing else you can do. It has to be sexual pizza.
This is a family program. But yeah, I mean,
ABC sponsor us, like.
Focus
ABC
on the family.
Bantucentric, sexual pizzas.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, sorry to leave you guys on such a horrible note.
Yes.
But please do look into this, you know, please do push this. If there's a petition or something, go ahead and sign the thing. You know, this definitely deserves justice.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We don't want that to slip by the wayside. So please do that. But yeah, again, like I said, sorry for the very rapid change in tone there.
Yeah.
But you know,
we need to plan
this was definitely, but this definitely was something that we wanted to talk about because it was such an insane story that just showed up.
Yeah, it definitely needed to be addressed. More people need to be talking about it, because when I tried to find like an article on it to reference, there weren't nearly enough articles on this. More people need to get talking about this, because it's ridiculous that Nashville officials are just like, they're unlikely to be charged. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Because when stuff happens to black kids, no one cares.
Right.
And that's crap, but it's true. But you know, like I said, please follow this. But really, thank you guys for listening to
watching with your ears
as usual. Yes. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to Bantucentric. You can find me at Buck Rivers Film on Twitter, and you can please we're gonna start doing some movie reviews, black films and black albums and such. So please email us at bantucentric@gmail with ideas, or tweet at me or Cheyenne, or at the Bantucentric page at Bantucentric, or I guess at Imaginally Productions if you want to on Twitter. But you can find Cheyenne at...
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Yes, I do allow people to find me on Instagram at Shy Productions. That's CHEY Productions. You can also find me on my websites, sidelinesource.net and CheyenneFinch.com. So go ahead, hit me up, check my stuff out, and have fun. Yeah, no sexual pizzas, but you know, it's still good content, still quality content.
Yeah, it's still up in the air. She might switch up her content style eventually.
Who knows? Next week,
once that degree doesn't go anywhere,
might be about sexual pizzas in the NFL. Who knows?
Yeah. That would be amazing if some sort of related story comes out about that next week. Like, if that does, we are reporting about that.
We have to. We have no choice.
Like we're the resident experts on sexual pizzas.
Pretty
because
much.
that's not a thing. Yeah. We're the only people on Earth
now
who know about this,
and we're the only ones who know about it.
Yeah, just plug this into the zeitgeist, y'all. But yeah, on that note, but yeah, please like and share. We are now on iTunes. Woo! Forgot to announce that at the beginning. But yes, we are on iTunes, and I'm working on getting us on Castbox, as well as wherever else. I feel like there are podcast apps that just kind of route through iTunes. So I'm trying to find what those are, or just know, like, so I kind of have a list of availability. If you guys are listening to this on, say, SoundCloud, or even on YouTube, and you just don't really like the format, but you definitely want to hear our podcast, please email or tweet what type of app that you use, and I'll look into that. I really want this to have as broad, viewership as possible, but everybody puts their stuff on iTunes, but not everybody has Apple Podcasts. I don't. I've got an Android phone, so I use Castbox. That's why I'm putting it on there, but I'm not sure. But you can upload directly to Castbox, and it's not like they just route through other sites like iTunes. So I'm not sure of what the Android equivalent would be that you could put it there and then it'll get to all the other apps. So I'm looking for that. If you know, please just go ahead and let me know. But yeah, anything else to add, Cheyenne?
Sideline Source is still looking for people that would like to work on the site. So if you're a writer, if you're a broadcaster, or if you're good at social media, unlike we'd be happy to have you as part of the team. I've been told that the key to quality social media accounts is to be on them all the time, which I'm not. But if you're one of those people that likes to post on stuff and comment on stuff and do all that fun stuff, you should definitely hit me up. You can go on the sidelinesource.net contact page, and you'll see a place where you can fill out the whole information box. So just let me know what you're interested in. You can also email me at cheyennefinchss@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to hear you out, and hopefully you'll become a part of the team. So let me know if you are interested in that. That's my spiel.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, then in that case, again, thank you guys for listening to Bantucentric. And as always, stay woke.
And stay Bantu.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bantucentric is brought to you by Imagine Only Productions.